News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.
Now, from the fifth floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, Dallas-Fort Worth. Welcome to Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga, your host here. InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. I'm going to be talking all things real estate today, all things real estate, insurance, mortgage, and all that good stuff. Hey, folks, it is November 29th, Sunday. By the way, we are here every Sunday, 8 a.m., every Sunday, 8 a.m. And if you've missed any of the previous shows, you can always go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, and connect with us. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving. Certainly had a great one myself. Hope you did as well, and hope you're enjoying the Thanksgiving holidays, and hope you're giving true thanks out there for all of your blessings in your life. So hope you also didn't get run over during the Black Friday rush and sales. You know, and of course they got that Cyber Monday coming up tomorrow, and of course nowadays they've got the Thanksgiving sales pretty much all of November now and into December. You know, they've got all those early Black Friday sales, etc. And but Cyber Monday, I actually do quite a bit of shopping on the old Cyber Monday and get quite a few good deals going on that. I really don't go out on the Cyber or the Black Friday anymore. I really don't. And if I can, make it out of town, that's even better. But I hope everybody had an absolute great Thanksgiving out there. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. Call number, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF if you want to give us a shout, and we might just take your call. You never know. We always get so carried away here with all the fun things that we're talking about and having so much fun. A lot of times we forget about these calls, but I tell you what, if you do call in, well, I guess what, we'll try to answer it. Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. If you want to be a part of the show, you want to advertise on the show, you can connect with me there. All my contact information is there. Of course, you can also bounce over to my real estate website. And if you want to get our app, DFW Metroplex Real Estate app, that's the name, provided courtesy of Snap Real Estate. Our folks are great technical folks out in California. That's snaprealestate.com, snap with two P's. But all you got to do, folks, is go into your smarty phone, whether you got a Droid or Apple phone, and just go into your app store, punch in DFW Metroplex Real Estate, and booyah, House and Key pops up, and we are right there. And you can connect with me, and we'll get you taken care of. Folks, we do really great jobs on our listings, and we not only list ranches, multifamily properties, duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, but of course your standard old subdivision home. And, we cover the absolute entire Metroplex. We are specialists in real estate. And, we're not the type of agent or group that just practices in one small neighborhood. That's not our style. We are absolute real estate specialists in all things real estate. So if you've been listening to the show, then you probably know that by now. If you haven't, well, stay tuned and, hey, go catch some archive episodes because you're going to learn a heck of a lot between myself, our insurance partners, JC Harder. You're going to learn a whole heck of a lot about insurance, our mortgage partners with Supreme Lending, and all of our partners, our Title Talk partners at Millennium Title. You're going to learn a heck of a lot, and you're going to figure out real quickly, wow, these guys know what they're talking about. I want to work with these guys in my next real estate transaction, selling, buying, and or both. But we cover the entire Metroplex. So, if you're selling in Frisco and maybe you got to head over to Fort Worth for a transfer, we can get you over on the Fort Worth side of town. If you're up in Denton, you're moving down to Ennis, well, we can handle that too. If you're selling a branch out in the country somewhere and moving into Dallas because you're tired of the commute, or you're moving into Fort Worth or Arlington or mid-cities, Frisco, Plano, wherever the case may be, we can get that taken care of. Any crosstown move, or if you're moving somewhere else in the state, like I said before, we just had a client, we got their house under contract in Pflugerville, which is down in the Austin area, and they were moving to Houston. So we actually listed their home down in Austin, and we got them the best agent in Houston to take care of the purchase down there. And, in some cases, we personally will take that client into another market and get them squared away in that market as well. So, folks, we're absolute real estate specialists. So if you think about the old school ways of, you have to find an agent that lives in that neighborhood because they know all about that neighborhood. Well, they might know all the gossip in that neighborhood. But I can tell you what, more than likely, if they're just working in their own neighborhood, and most neighborhoods have, a couple hundred homes, if they're really big neighborhoods have maybe 500 homes, guess what? They're not really selling a whole heck of a lot of real estate, which means they're probably not up to speed on everything that's going on nationally and at the local level at all. Now, they may sure know well a whole heck of a lot of gossip, and they sure know what's going on in that neighborhood. Who's got loud barking dogs and, all that good stuff. But if you want someone who knows real estate, who can get in there, tell you whether a property's got gutters, whether a property's got a French drain or not. Do you know what a French drain is? Most people do not. Most buyers I've taken out don't know what a French drain is. Most buyers don't know what radiant barrier is. And, I can tell you what's going on in that house. And I can also assess very accurately through the information that we have, honestly, for the entire state of Texas, but very easily the entire DFW Metroplex, what your property's worth on paper. Then I can come out to your property and I can assess the amenities that you've added to your property. I can assess additional value to that, and also see the condition of your property, wear and tear wise, and see where you are, because we're going to establish a market value for your property. There's a low end and there's a high end of market value. Where are you in that range? Well, we've got to figure that out. And since we are specialists at doing this, we can do that for you, whether you got your house in Frisco, in Burleson, in Crowley, down in Cleburne, in Granbury, Prosper, Bonham, Dallas proper, Fort Worth proper, Southlake. No matter where you're at, Rockwall, it doesn't matter. We can take care of that. We can get you top dollar. And folks, let the power of radio, by the way, help you sell your home. Not only do we have our own radio show right here, Sunday mornings, KLIF 570, 8 a.m., every single Sunday, and we'll talk about your listing. We feature listings from time to time, which is huge exposure for your listing. But we also advertise heavily on talk radio as well. We advertise on Sister Station 820, and of course here on 570. We advertise on the Glenn Beck Show. And advertise on other talk radio platforms as well. So we're all over the radio, not only with our own radio show, of course, but as well as advertising all over the place. You know what that does, folks, is when we advertise on the radio, it brings us buyers for your home as a seller. And it's just another great way to get your home sold, folks. I mean, why do you think all of the most successful companies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area advertise on talk radio? Well, it's because it works, and it works in real estate as well. So let us help you with selling your home, no matter what area of the Metroplex it is. We do an amazing job at it. We're going to get a professional photographer out there. If you got a large property with acreage, we'll get our aerial drone guy out there to get some nice aerial shots. We're going to do a great job for you. We're just going to put together a beautiful listing, and we're going to advertise the heck out of it. And, what other agent has radio advertising like we do? What other agent has a radio show like I do? Well, if you just need an agent that sells in your particular neighborhood, that knows the local gossip, well, that may not be me. I may not know all the local gossip in every single neighborhood. And you know what? I think that's a good thing. But I can tell you what, I know about the real things that matter. Is that particular neighborhood near a railroad track? Is it near an airport? Is it close to a power plant of some sort? These are major things that you want to know. What kind of easements, zoning's going on? Are there big zoning battles going on? Hey, are they planning to put a huge super retail center in that vacant lot behind your house? You're buying that house thinking, oh, wow, it's got a great green belt right behind my house. I don't have anything behind it. Yeah, that's great. For now, there's nothing there. Is there anything big on the horizon about to be built there? Well, I guarantee just because that agent sells maybe in that neighborhood only because they're lazy and only want to sell in that neighborhood, they probably don't know that. They might know the local gossip, but they're not going to know the big stuff like that. That's why you want to work with a specialist. You want to work with the real deal folks. Inside Real Estate, folks, is the real deal. Mike Kruizinga here, your host and your local DFW realtor. So give us a shout. Hey, folks, you know what? We're going to come on back here in a few. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. See you in a few.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate, law, and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com, that's txtitleattorney.com, or call 817-310-0136.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
KLIF News and Information, keeping you informed around the clock every day. The resources of our local news team stays on top of the news as it breaks, and that means you are on top of the news. Traffic information every morning when you need it. Lock us in with traffic on the 5s at 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55 past the hour. And it all comes your way from our home right in the nerve center of Dallas, Victory Park, next to the American Airlines Center. News and Information 570 AM, KLIF.
Hey, folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. It is time for another great segment of Mortgage Talk. We've got Angela Meineke in studio. We're going to be talking all things mortgage. Folks, where you're going to get a hold of them is 866-607-5667, 866-607-5667 for all of your mortgage and refinance needs. Website, RockyMartin.com, RockyMartin.com. That's Rocky with an I-E, RockyMartin.com. Angela, welcome back. How we doing?
Good morning, Mike. Doing good.
So, are we talking cash today? Is that what we're talking? Cash is king?
Well, yes. But specifically about that cash, we're going to talk about something that is probably the single thing that I'm most passionate about, and that's the state of Texas. Born and raised, never lived anywhere else. And before we get into the mortgage aspect and specifically,
yes, native Texan.
yeah, no doubt about it. You can hear it in my voice, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Before we get into the mortgage side of how Texas is so wonderful and unique, a couple of little things here. Did you know that Whataburger originated in the state of Texas?
I did.
You did. You know, it's kind of funny because people from other states, they don't appreciate a Whataburger like we appreciate a Whataburger.
True.
So, yes, that's one of the things that we gave the country.
Yeah, they don't. And hey, I love Whataburger. Whataburger, actually, when I was back in sports marketing, Whataburger was one of my clients with the Hoop It Up brand, as well as a few other events and tours that we did, and based out of Corpus Christi, but then they moved their head offices recently, a few years back, to San Antonio.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Love Whataburger. The folks at Whataburger are great. And you know, one of the great things about working with Whataburger was that they were huge on giving back to their employees.
Oh, yeah.
And so as part of anything that we did with any of our sporting tours that we did, they always wanted to have some part of the action, something special for their employees.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. So not only were they interested in the marketing and advertising aspect of what we were offering and the experiential events that we were offering, but they actively wanted to say, hey, what else can we do as part of this partnership for our employees? So, you know, just a little tidbit there, about my life and sports marketing days, and yeah, I mean, they're just what a great company, and they were such a pleasure to deal with. They really were.
Well, and what else would you expect from a Southern company, right? It's that hospitality.
That's right.
They want to give back. They want to take care of their people. That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know that sometime in between, I don't know, late 30s, early 40s, the State Fair of Texas truly actually invented the corny dog?
Really?
Yes. And you're very welcome, the rest of the United States.
The rest of the world?
Yeah. We invented the corny dog, which, of course, even today is, the single, probably longest standing tradition at our State Fair of Texas.
Absolutely.
The corny dog.
Yeah. Every time I go, got to have the Fletcher's corny dog.
It's the only reason I go.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason. I can go for 30 minutes or I can go for 3 hours. Either way,
yeah, you
just got to get my corn dog.
Get your corny dog fix. And I love the French fries.
Of course.
I love those fries they got there.
Chili. Chili was invented in Texas. And of course, Dr. Pepper, we know that. And then most recently, Bluebell, started in Texas.
Yep.
But what I kind of want to talk about today regarding mortgage, I mean, we could talk about, how Texas is so great.
Yeah, and we could talk about Dr. Pepper all day, my lifeblood.
And Bluebell. I mean, I almost felt like I was having withdrawal back in the summer without it.
Right.
It's like something's not right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freezers just bare, But another way that Texas is great and unique is our refinance, specifically with cash out loans. Texas is not like any of the other 50 states of the United States when it comes to refinance home equity, taking cash out of the equity in your home. And, some people, it's funny because, Supreme Lending is a nationwide company, and I talk to loan officers and branch managers all around the nation. And anytime you mention the word Texas cash out, they immediately shut down, shy away, and start talking bad about how difficult it is. It's not difficult, really. And at the end of the day, it's the laws and restrictions were designed to, help Texans to keep us in a better financial situation.
Right.
Specifically, the biggest restriction or guideline to Texas cash outs is the 80% rule. So if you are doing a refinance cash out loan, you are limited to 80% of your home's value. And what that means is we're going to have an appraisal done by a licensed professional appraiser, and whatever that appraised value comes in at, we will take 80% of that dollar amount, and that will be your loan amount. With that, we have to pay off your existing mortgage, because that's what a refinance is, and whatever's left over and above that amount is what you can get in cash. Okay, so yes, that sounds like a terrible restriction, but on the flip side, you're always going to have 20% equity in your house whenever you're doing a Texas cash out.
Right.
So you're never going to be, quote, upside down. Some states, or actually all states, allow up to, 95 and used to allow up to 100% cash out. And that means that if your value comes in at $200,000 and you borrow $200,000, and then, the next year your value drops to $195,000, you're upside down.
Right.
Because you have a loan for $200,000. You'll never be in that situation on a Texas cash out refinance in Texas.
True.
Another crazy thing is called the 12-day. And if you're doing a Texas cash out refinance, most Texans do what's called the Texas two-step. Well, on the mortgage side, we do the Texas 12-day. Okay. And it's a document that basically says, that from the time all parties on the loan, man, woman, spouses, et cetera, have to sign what's called the Texas 12-day. And it's a 12-day waiting period is what it is. And that waiting period is to, go through the process, establish the value, and basically, make sure that all questions have been answered. It's a mandatory 12-day waiting period before you can close that loan.
Right.
Another tidbit about Texas cash outs is once you have done a Texas cash out loan, any refinance thereafter on that property is considered to abide by the Texas cash out laws. And that's why it was so important earlier when we were talking about the 80% rule, is that once you do a Texas cash out loan and you are capped at that 80% value, any refinance you do subsequent to that will also be limited to 80%, because there again, we'll never let our Texans, that have equity in their home be upside down.
Right. So basically, it's a great program. Obviously we can access the equity that's in our property.
Absolutely.
But only up to a certain limit.
Correct.
The 80-20 rule. And obviously, so what that's trying to do is protect us from getting upside down. But as you move forward through time,
right,
you can, as your home appreciates, maybe you've done a cash out.
Right.
And as your property appreciates and more, value is in there, more liquidity is in there, can we go and have a second or even third down the line cash out and get additional cash out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do one cash out every 12 months. In the state of Texas. Like we're seeing right now with the huge value increase.
Yeah, huge.
In Texas, now is a great time to do a refinance cash out, specifically the time of year that we're in, because, anytime you're talking about refinancing, property taxes play a part in that, because property taxes are due in Texas in December.
Sure.
So now's the time, to do a Texas cash out, because you won't have to roll in your property taxes. They probably will be or have just been paid.
Exactly.
Our values are up, and there again, even though our values are up, which is a good thing, it's cyclical. They could come back down, but we will never be upside down if you're doing a Texas cash out, because you're always going to have at least that 20% equity mark.
Right.
Which means that if you do a refinance cash out right now, you go to sell your home this time next year, if our market is not where it is today and values drop just a little bit, you can still sell that house, get your equity out of it. You're not going to be upside down. You're not going to have to pay to sell your house. You're still going to be safe. And on the flip side to that, like you said, if 12 months from now our values are still increasing and we're still seeing the boom that we're seeing today in Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can do another Texas cash out and get more equity out. And there are no restrictions on what you can do with that cash. You can put it back into your house, increase the value even more, pay off debt. You can put it away for kids' college fund. There's no restriction on what you can do with the cash that you are taking out of your equity in your home.
Yeah, and folks, it's our cash that is in our house, and so if we want to make it work for us,
sure,
at any point during your home ownership or multiple points through your home ownership, grab some of that money out of there. Best time to do it, like Angela says, is at the end of the year,
is now,
which is like right now,
and rates are still low.
Yeah, do it right now. just for the sheer fact of, maybe you're going to get a better interest rate, but also you can get some cash out. And, what do you want to do with it? Well, maybe you want to spend it on the holidays. It's a perfect time to spend extra money on holidays. Maybe you want to take another vacation. No limits on what you can do with the cash. Like you said, you can pay off debt. You can put it into the house, all kinds of things. Now let's talk about this. Let's say your home is paid off or nearly paid off, and you have a heck of a lot of equity in there. You can take up to, that 80-20 rule. Yep. The 80-20 rule. So, you could maybe take 30%.
Absolutely.
Let's say the house is paid off. Maybe you take 30% mortgage on it of what the value is, or 40% or 50%, or whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Folks, you might want to take that money and invest it. You may say, hey, there's some hot stocks out there I want to get into.
Other real estate, exactly. I mean, real estate is what makes the money. Maybe you want to get into a rental property. All kinds of things. Folks, it's your house. It's your cash that's in there. Don't think that just because you're paid off, it's like, oh, that's great. Well, hey, maybe take a little bit of money out of it. Maybe take $20,000, $50,000 out of it. Maybe invest that, do some other things to set yourself up a little bit better. The rates right now, folks, are so low. It's basically free money. It is, yeah.
And it's your house, your equity in the house.
That's why we are homeowners.
Make the most of it, And if you're not understanding that and figuring that out, you need to get with us. You need to go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com, catch up with me, catch up with Angela, the folks at Rocky Martin team, and we're going to get you all squared away on all of this. It's your money. It's your house. Do with it what you will.
Right.
And you can better your position in life.
Absolutely.
Honestly, be smart about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about how incredibly hot and, how our values are increasing. Now is the time to invest in real estate. If you, like Mike said, if your home is paid off or close to being paid off, let's take that equity out, whether it be 75, maybe you've got $100,000, maybe you've got $150,000 in equity, borrow that money at historically low rates, go, get with Mike and say, hey, I'm looking to invest in real estate. Find me a rental property where I can purchase it, pay cash for it, have someone else pay me to live in it. That's supplementing my income. It's also supplementing my retirement and my long-term investment. Yeah, that's the best thing that you could do, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've just bought another property, and it's going to appreciate, generally speaking, and over time. Sure, rental properties have some maintenance along the way, but that's part of doing business. And guess what? At the end of the day, you can still sell that, make a profit on it down the road. Plus, you're getting the passive income every month from
tax
the
write-off.
Renter. Yeah, absolutely. Folks, this stuff is not that complicated. You don't have to go to one of those fancy, webinars, fancy seminars, and buy a bunch of gurus CDs to figure this stuff out. Hey, get with me. InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Connect with me. We'll talk about it. We'll get you connected with Angela and how to figure this stuff out. It's not rocket science, and we'll put you in a much better situation. And you're right. I had a client call the other day. They wanted to list their house. They'd only been in it for a couple of years. And, generally when you get that call and somebody wants to sell their house, but they've only been in it a year or two, you're worried.
Right.
Because chances are they're going to have to come to the table with some cash, unless they put a lot down.
Sure.
In most situations they don't. But nowadays, more and more, every time that's coming up and I'm looking into it, I'm like, wow. You're in a great situation. And so that's where we're really starting to see those values appreciate.
Exactly.
And people are able to get out of these houses actually making money after a year or 2 years or 3 years, which generally you got to be in your house 5 years to get any equity going. But so that just goes to show you, folks, that, your house has appreciated significantly since last you thought about it.
Absolutely.
And so this cash out option could be huge for you. Could give you some options to do all kinds of things that you've been wanting to do.
Yeah, and we, not only do we do, mortgage loans, I'm a loan officer, Mike's a real estate agent, but overall we understand the market. We understand, the industry. We understand the options. I can give free financial advice all day, every day. like you said, I don't charge for a CD. I don't charge for my time. If you're questioning what the value of your home truly is, based on what you're hearing in the media and what you're hearing from us even this morning, we can check that for you. You don't have to actually go and pay for an appraisal just for us to, log in and get some idea of what the homes in your area that are like yours are selling for. Mike has access to MLS. That's basically the same thing the appraisers use. So if you want to call him and say, hey, I like the idea of taking cash out and investing. Can you help me understand what my home is worth? Well, that's the first step. Mike can help you with that. I can help you get qualified for the refinance with the rate and the payments, and then we call Mike and say, okay, well, we're all done. Here's how much cash we have. Find us a house. And it's that easy. It really, truly is.
Yeah, folks, it literally is. And, and you may have different ideas about, what areas you want to, have a rental property in, or you may be wide open. But, yeah, I mean, anything around the Metroplex we can help you with, even if in the rural areas. You might want to go multifamily. You might want to go with the duplex.
Right.
I highly recommend the duplexes.
Mm-hmm.
They are huge. One side, pays the mortgage. The other side is basically free and clear cash flow.
Right.
Duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes. Highly recommend those. But you need a good agent to be able to guide you into the right situations,
right,
and help you recognize the situations that are going to go downhill.
Right.
Because you do have to watch out with, multi-plex communities. They often can go south.
Yes.
And they can go south quickly. So you have to read the signs in those neighborhoods to see, is it getting close to that?
Right.
And if it is, you may not want to invest in that area. But if the right price, you still may. So, you need the right agent to be able to kind of help you get through all that and see the signs in where these multi-family properties are. But they're an amazing way to invest your money and really take yourself to a different level if you've never invested in real estate at all. And even if you're a big-time, investor in stocks, and you probably, since the crash, have been disappointed, and you're like, where do I put my money? Folks, real estate.
Yep, it's the only thing that's remained constant in the last 10 years through our, ups and downs and our turbulence with, our economy. It is the only thing that has remained constant. And quite frankly, right now in our area and in the state of Texas as a whole, it's increasing and steadily has been, ever since the drop back in 2007 and 2008. And another note, too, is if you do have the equity and you don't want to pay cash for a property, I can look at maybe putting down 20%, financing the rest of that rental property. If you don't have enough to pull out in the equity of your home to pay cash, hey, let's look at putting down 25% or 30%. You don't have to actually pay cash for the entire amount of the home. We can call up Mike and say, hey, they're pre-approved. They've got the money. They're looking to put down about 20%. So find them a home in, X price range to where they will have a small mortgage payment, but it will be paid plus some by the renter.
Yeah, exactly. And we can come up with, the right scenario for you with the numbers, and how much you look into to profit. And folks, you'd be surprised, even if you're making a few $100s extra a month, that's more than you're making more than likely on your stock portfolio investments, or at least a bunch of them anyway. So you might want to maybe liquidate out of there, and go into real estate. And yeah, sure, real estate goes up and down, but at the end of the day, it is an asset that is backed by something physical, tangible.
Collateral.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You can absolutely touch it. It's not nothing in thin air. It's not a piece of paper saying X number of shares of something that's in the thin air.
Right.
This is real, folks. That's why they call it real estate. Okay, it is really there. It's real. And one of the things I love about the multifamily properties is, especially if you're going to have a mortgage on it, is that there's some built-in protection with it, because one side is going to pay that mortgage payment for you while the other side is more or less, and speaking of a duplex, that is going to be free cash flow. So, let's say you buy a $150,000 duplex, let's say you put the 20% down. So maybe you're going to be around somewhere $1,000, $1,200 mortgage payment on that. And you rent each side out. Let's say you get a nice 3-2 on each side. You can easily rent each side, $1,000, $1,200 a piece. So guess what? That just paid the mortgage payment, and you got that other side at $1,000, $1,200 a month, free and clear.
Right.
I mean, is that not a no-brainer? And then guess what? It just gets better with a triplex and a quadplex.
Absolutely.
Now those are going to cost a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more risk, but there's still the same principles apply. Now, in some cases with the quadplex, you might be looking at 2 units paying 2 units of rent, paying for the entire mortgage, depending on what you're putting down, et cetera. But if as long as you stay at kind of that level, then you still got 2 units free.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and as long as you're always staying at 2 units occupied, you are good to go. You're golden. Folks, you got to get with us on this. This is huge. The Texas cash out. You need to get with us on it. Anything else to add, Angela?
Yeah, I was just going to say, when people ask me what is, my suggestion on, how to invest, and my answer is, invest in something that someone else is paying for. I mean, that's just, that's the easiest and best kind. I would love to, and hopefully I will someday, retire based on something that I have that is, like you said, tangible, that I can actually cash out and utilize that someone else paid for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and that's what investment property is. It's it's an investment that someone else is paying for. It's your investment. So, that's the best kind of retirement, in my opinion.
Absolutely. The most successful businessmen, in America and in the world,
start in real estate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one thing that connects all of them is, they always said other people's money.
Right.
They
That's exactly
smartly
right.
acquired loans to do and build their business. And folks, you as just the average person, can do the same thing. And, you don't have to buy 20 properties. Maybe just have a couple. Whatever the case may be, but real estate is real, and take advantage of it, folks. So look, RockyMartin.com is a website, Rocky with an IE, RockyMartin.com. Phone number where they are standing by for all of your refinance needs, your cash out needs, your mortgage needs, 866-607-5667. We've been talking with Angela Meineke. Thanks a bunch, Angela. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We'll be back in a few.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate law and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com, that's txtitleattorney.com, or call 817-310-0136.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211-731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
Experience. The thing you gain from touching a hot stove once, making the same mistake twice, and spending a few years in advertising sales. You can't teach experience, which is why we at Cumulus Media are looking to hire someone who has experience selling advertising to ad agencies. If you can work in a veil, use Nielsen ratings, and understand cost per point or CPM analysis, text agency to 20248. Cumulus would like to talk to you about leaving where you are for something better.
96.3 FM HD2 and 570 AM. Two great places to keep up with your world with KLIF News and Information.
Hey, folks, we're back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in on this very special edition of the Thanksgiving weekend. Hope everybody's having a great Thanksgiving holiday out there. Hope you're having a blast and enjoying friends, family, and all the blessings that you have, and hope you're giving true thanks for those blessings. And well, folks, let's talk some headlines. I've got a bunch of real estate headlines. I'm going to try to rapid fire through. We've got a lot going on out there in real estate, and so I'm going to rapid fire throw these at you. Hey, what's up first? How about Charles Schwab bringing jobs to Northeast Tarrant County? New operations center should house hundreds of workers. San Francisco-based company looking at different locations in North Tarrant County for construction of an even larger operations center. Going to be moving jobs from San Francisco, which is the home base, to a lot of more affordable locations, really kind of throughout the area. They're also going to be doing maybe some consolidation out of Denver as well. They're planning to expand operations in El Paso and Austin. And now it has confirmed that it's rented some office space in Westlake. Here's a quote Sarah Bulgat said from Schwab, the director of PR there, said, quote, "We recently signed a 5-year lease for a building at 2050 Roanoke Road in Westlake. It's 130,000 square feet and will house up to 500 Schwab employees. Office will open in the middle of next year, and the company plans recruiting events to hire some additional workers." So, again, we've talked about in the past how we're just gaining leaps and bounds from California. Companies, either relocating headquarters or relocating operation centers or various segments of their operations into the DFW area. And here's another great example of that, and there's going to be Hillwood Properties is going to be doing some work over in Westlake as well on the Circle T Ranch. And so more than likely, the new permanent location is going to be in there, although we don't have confirmation of that yet. But more than likely, they will be in there. Temporary housing until then. But so that's pretty great news there. Again, DFW scoring from California. D.R. Horton, fourth quarter. Profit jumps up. Reported Tuesday, this past couple Tuesdays, fourth quarter profit rose nearly 44% on higher home sales. Largest home builder said home sales rose 23%, and orders rose as well. Net income up higher. Shares were up. And, of course, they do plan to move headquarters from Fort Worth back over to Arlington. We've talked about that in previous shows. And but, yeah, just some good news on D.R. Horton. Doing good. That's great news. What else we got going on? We've got some construction going on. Initial phase of a mixed-use development slated to start early 2016. We're looking at 270 apartments and 11,000 square feet of retail space, and the 26-acre Trophy Club development. They're calling this the crown jewel of the Trophy Club Town Center, a $230 million development. Dallas-based Beck Ventures and North American Properties teamed up on that, and they're looking to get that set here pretty soon. They've been working on this for years to try to get this particular project going. And looks like maybe they're going to finally be able to get that going. They had faced some local issues with trying to get things going, but maybe they're going to finally get it done. So that's great. See, we got some new luxury apartments. Construction will be started soon. Westcott-owned equity firm and Commodore Partners, Commodore Development LLC, should be getting underway. A new luxury apartment community on North Central Expressway. Going to be a 4-story apartment community. Called the Mark at Midtown Park. Going to bring high-end living to sort of Central Expressway, sort of between Royal and Walnut in North Dallas. It's going to have a resort-style swimming pool, club room, outdoor grilling areas, dog park, and a dog bathing area. They plan to begin leasing apartments in the winter of 2016. Construction should be complete by early 2017. So hey, we got some new luxury apartments coming our way, and if you've heard me talk about it before, rent demand is so high, and we've needed some relief, and so I've been trying to bring these stories to you of new construction of apartments because we really need them for the renters, and because we've got so many people moving in, and of course construction for new builds is going well as well, because we need relief there as well. But in the meantime, for those of you folks selling your home, you're going to get a good price until that those new builds come along. Hey, Wingstop needs more space. Wingstop growing. Dallas-based restaurant Wingstop growing headquarters space by more than 25%. Looking at about 40,000 square feet now. Back in 2013, they moved from Richardson, and now they're growing even more. So up to about 40,000 square feet. So that was a pretty big deal. Wingstop's growing. Everybody's growing in DFW, so that is huge. Hey, for all you online daters out there, Match.com moving their headquarters. They're here in Dallas, of course, already, but they are growing as well. They're going to take about 73,000 square feet of space over in the North Park Central Tower over at 8750 North Central Expressway. They said, quote, "We're excited to move our headquarters into a new space that is on par with the boldness of our vision and positive impact on the world." That was Match CEO Sam Yagan had said. The company started out in San Francisco and moved to Dallas in 1999. Even back in the late 90s, we were scoring off of California, bringing companies here to the DFW area. And they should be in that new location by next summer, they said. So just another local Dallas company growing, and that's great news. Had to bring this story to you. Growing up out in Frisco, the Box Ranch out there, just a huge part of Frisco, and later became the Brinkman Ranch, which it is currently named, which is the Brinkman Ranch. And if you know your Texas history and lore, you know that out at the Brinkman Ranch, previously the Box Ranch, they did a lot of filming for the show Dallas, the original, before the reboot came out, and so that was kind of one of its claim to fames out there. But that Brinkman Ranch, former Box Ranch, is about 3,500 acres currently. Various pieces of acreage had been sold off from time to time along the way, but currently about 3,500 acres. Frisco Zoning Commission calls for construction of about 500 houses, a shopping center northwest of Maine and Independence. Going to be single-family and patio-style homes. 171 acres is what they're looking at in that corner. And those plans were filed with the city of Frisco, and looks like we're going to be getting a nice big boost of homes and some more subdivisions in that little 171-acre tract, that little corner there, kind of Independence in Maine. And so it looks like, all those plans have been submitted, and hopefully some more, like I said, more relief in home building. And, Frisco is still growing by leaps and bounds. And, eventually I'm not going to doubt that all of that 3,500 acres eventually will be probably all developed at some time. Hillwood, owned by Ross Perot Jr., Hillwood Properties. The Circle T Ranch, which they've owned for 20 years or so, is finally probably going to be turned into something. Now, of course, I think they've wanted to do some things with this in the past, but the latest proposal is mixed-use development, offices, apartments, and retail space. And the latest plans for this urban-style project have been filed with the town of Westlake. They bought Hillwood, that is, bought the 2,000-acre ranch, which is on Highway 114 back in '93. Previously, it was owned by oil man Nelson Hunt. And Hillwood has been sitting on it for a few decades, have thought about doing something with it from time to time, have proposed various things over time to time. But now probably is the time, with the booming of the Metroplex right now, that this probably will get pushed through and probably will get developed. So the plans have been presented to Westlake Planning and Zoning. And, so we could be having some more growth right over there in Westlake. So that's pretty huge news as well. Additionally, boy, I tell you, there's so much going on in the Metroplex to talk about. And you're lucky that I'm able to bring all of this great news to you. Huge, there's this huge piece of property that's been just kind of sitting there and kind of ignored. And we're looking at probably getting developed here very soon. $300 million development, more than likely. Bringing homes, apartments, restaurant. Hooligan Investments is working on this project over Arapahoe and North Garland Ave. They're going to call it the Woodlands on Spring Creek. Homes, apartments, restaurants. And, it's going to be a short commute from the telecom corridor, kind of Garland, Richardson, Dallas area. And so more than likely, all these homes are going to be priced at about $300,000 to $400,000 is what they're saying. They've got the builder all lined up. Looking at maybe 382 new homes in that area. And then also, as part of this, they're going to have some seniors housing. They're going to be looking at about 150 unit seniors project. Carrollton-based Cross Development and Titus Capital are going to be working on that portion of the project. So this is going to be a pretty massive, huge project, and they're talking about a lot of great things as far as the nature goes in there as well. Talking about not just totally leveling it, but leaving the trees and, utilizing nature there, which is always a great thing when you hear developers say that, because that means, there's going to be more green belt space and more trees and just a more natural environment. And I think, builders are starting to figure out that people really don't like it when you just go in and bulldoze an entire area and just stick all the houses super close together, and every house is the exact same, and there's no trees. People, I think the developers are starting to figure out, because we went through a period of time there where the developers just leveled it all. It was all bare, and because obviously it's easier to build around that. But I think they're starting to figure out that that's not what people want, and the longevity of an homeowner that lives in that neighborhood, they want to get out of there very quickly, and they get into a neighborhood that was more similar to maybe how they grew up, where there's a lot of trees in the neighborhood, mature, established, lots of green belts, parks. People love those things. So I think developers are figuring that out, and that's great that they're talking about making sure that all of that is going to stay intact. So that's awesome. Well, folks, hey, I got more headlines to get to, but I can't get to them all. We're going to take a break. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We'll be back in a few.
Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
Do you know the difference between a business and a successful business? Excellent branding. You can increase your sales and branding recognition by attending a 1-hour free Cumulus radio branding seminar Wednesday, December 2nd. You'll learn the 4 keys of branding, how to use trigger events to drive business, and how to market your business. You'll even get a free lunch. To join us, call 214-523-2760. That's 214-523-2760.
Attention real estate agents. The Snap platform, that's Snap, S-N-A-P-P, Snap, allows real estate agents to have their own branded and native mobile app available for download in both Apple and Android formats. It's not a matter of if or when, folks. The mobile revolution is here. If you aren't catering to it, you're sinking fast. It's a proven fact that people use mobile apps 66% more than mobile websites or desktop browsers, and that percentage increases even more when you're looking at home buyers that are in the searching process. Picture this: you've got a great conversation with a potential home buyer who hasn't yet agreed to work with you exclusively. You don't have your own branded mobile app yet, so you give the prospect your website, and they're going to use that when they want to search for available properties. The next day, that potential client is out and about, and they want to see what's for sale nearby. They aren't using their laptop. They are on their mobile devices. They visit your website only to realize it's not a user-friendly mobile site as some of the real estate apps they've already tried. Your website may even offer that mobile version, but it lacks vital GPS functionality and other features that need to be available to the home buyer when they're looking in the mobile process. Being left with no other option, the person turns to a third-party advertising app such as Zillow or Trulia. They find a property they like and end up connecting with another agent through that app. End of story, end of opportunity. You just lost that potential client because you did not have a mobile app. The point is, having your own app is as crucial as having a website has been for years. Don't stop advertising with other apps because that can be an effective way to generate great leads. However, for any prospect with whom you're already interacting, whether it's a referral, a friend, a lead from a various lead source, your website, or anywhere else, do yourself and the home buyer a favor. Give them the mobile experience that they demand. Otherwise, they will find it somewhere else. Bottom line, you need your own app to sell more homes and to stay afloat in this crazy real estate world full of new technologies and apps. Snap makes it all easier and cheaper with their platform. Set up your real estate app today. Visit snaprealestate.com. That's snap with 2 P's. Snaprealestate.com for all your real estate app needs. Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any of those categories, please seek the appropriate professional. The host is a licensed real estate agent in Texas with the Chris Arnold Premier Realty Brokerage, a fair housing broker and member of the MLS. Texas real estate agents are prohibited from providing legal advice.
News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.